Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That guy over there wearing that helmet for some reason. Oh, that explains. I thought it was a football helmet at first. That guy over there is my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek, aka Magneto. It is a great looking helmet. Welcome to Avatar: The Last Podcast. It's great to have you here. Today we're going to talk about Toph versus Metalbenders, but in other works of fiction. Chris, well, before we do that though, Chris, how are you? How you doing?
We're the future, Charles, not them.
It's a great line. What a great movie. That whole first movie is glorious.
Yeah, and even if you think about Magneto's intent, that's not a super villain plan. He's not like I'm gonna kill everybody. He's like, my intention is I'm gonna turn the world leaders into mutants. And when they're mutants, they'll then be more empathetic to our cause.
That's
And
a pretty
you're like, you know what?
That's a pretty empathetic villain cause right there.
Yeah.
What?
If it wasn't it's almost like I feel like they did a first draft and that was it. And then they went and read it. It was like, wait a minute, we should be rooting for Magneto. This isn't like a bad thing. And then they had to go and add in the fact that like, oh, this thing isn't stable. It might kill people. But Magneto doesn't know that.
Which is I am completely fine with, because in my head it works.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
Yeah.
you mess with
Yes.
genes when the person's already been, gened, right, at birth, and now you're just like, well, I'm just gonna tamper with this. I can completely get on board. We just talked
Yeah.
about this well, probably for the same reason. That one, the first movie, is in First Class and Days of Future Past. Might be three of my favorite superhero movies.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe
I
three of
like
my
the
top
second one.
10, I bet.
Oh, that's man. I haven't made a good
I like
superhero list.
the concept of X-Men in its core. I'm biased to the idea of like I don't want to call it a niche, but like kind of an acute superpower as a result of a mutation. Like that's a good basis for heroes to me. I like it. So
Yeah.
bias.
I'll put First Class is great. The first one's great. The second one's X-Men United.
It's good.
Great.
It's good.
It's Future Past. I think it's like such a great blend. Man, I really need to rewatch that movie. I love it. I've always loved it.
I'm a little lesser on 2. I still love it. I still watch it every time. I watch 3 every time as well.
That
but I'm a
first
little
scene,
lesser.
I'm saying that White House scene is like, there are a few movies that start off so great, he's
really
going
cool.
through the White House, just
wrecking shop,
and it's just like multiple suspects. It's like, no, this is one guy. Just
and talking about setting the table for mutant hatred, just like that's a perfect setup. I'm not quite as big into like the lore stuff and things that for example you probably are, but it's still really good movie. Then 3 is weird. I feel like we've complained about 3 before, maybe on the show.
I like 3 more than most people. I feel like X-Men 3, The Last Stand, is better than people give it credit for. It's not. People like to lump it in with Spider-Man 3, and I think it's way better than Spider-Man 3.
I would definitely watch it before Spider-Man 3. I don't think it's that close to me personally.
Yeah.
I don't like Apocalypse. I don't like what's the Phoenix. I didn't care for that one.
I didn't like them either that much. I thought they were fine. Actually, no, I did not like the Phoenix one. I didn't like it. Apocalypse I thought was fine. But It's My Last Stand. That might be the movie I've seen the most in theaters.
No kidding.
I think I saw it like 4 or 5 times in theaters.
It's still really good. Like that first trilogy always gets me. Did it go the first trilogy and then First Class? Like they were really on a great thing. And then what happened after First Class was the 2 Wolverine ones, right? Which is
man, it went
what I would consider a setback.
No, it went the first 3, then X-Men Origins Wolverine. I want to say
Oh,
around
okay. I had those
2008
flip
or
flopped.
2009. And then First Class came out, I want to say like 2011. Yeah, because that was a bunch of movies came out that year. In 2011. Yeah, First Class is one of them. Yeah, because Captain America, Thor, Green Lantern, and X-Men First Class, those all came out that summer of 2011. Don't know why I remember that so distinctly.
That's very
Um,
vibrant, very vivid memory.
yeah. Um, oh, yeah, First Class, and then Days of Future Past,
No,
and
Wolverine was
then
before Days of Future Past,
I'm
right?
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, it went first trilogy, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, then did Double Wolverine come out before? No, then Days of Future Past. I'm sorry, the trilogy, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, which is terrible.
Hmm?
First Class, then
Wolverine,
the the Wolverine,
the Wolverine,
then X-Men Days of Future Past. Then I want to
Logan.
say Logan,
Either
maybe
either Logan or Apocalypse. I don't remember.
Apocalypse. Yeah,
One of
I
those
want
two
to
are
say
close.
I want to say Logan.
My
Yeah,
my
then
gut said
Apocalypse, and
Logan,
then
which I like. Logan. It's not my kind of movie, but I really liked Logan, or I understood this a really good movie. It's just not my
I
kind of
liked
movie.
it, and I liked it, and then never needed to watch it again.
Yeah, I've
I
only
thought
seen
it
it
was
the one
overrated when I
time.
watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen it exactly once. And then the Phoenix whatever, which I watched once, and I couldn't even get myself
yeah, I didn't like it.
interested. Well, long
But
story
Steve
short,
Phelps right.
X-Men franchise, big fan, especially if you lump in the Deadpool movies, which I do because there are always canonically X-Men in it.
I'm not a big fan of that, but
I am a fan of that. Chris, they're in there. He talks about him, talks to him directly. I don't make the
yeah,
rules.
it's yeah. It goes it goes the trilogy, X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men First Class. Then I was way off. Okay, X-Men First Class, then The Wolverine in 2013,
How are we way off
then
here?
X-Men
Dead
Days
on
of
so
Future.
far.
We put X-Men Days of Future Past before The Wolverine.
No, we corrected ourselves. We got it right.
Oh, did we?
We
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So The Wolverine in 2013, X-Men Days of Future Past in 2014, X-Men Apocalypse in 2016, then Logan
So we had
in
those two flipped.
2017. Yeah.
They were really close.
Then Dark Phoenix, and then I guess if you count the New Mutants, which I don't, not in the X Men of movies. I don't count New Mutants.
Yeah, that's fine. Good,
Yeah,
good franchise. Good franchise. More,
yeah,
more good than bad.
yes. I would take it over the Marvel universe, over the
Oh,
MCU.
I
But
would
then again,
listen.
I'm an X Men fan though, so
This, uh,
it's
this is the wrong group to ask that question to, but yeah, I don't care for. I still don't care. And then we've just rewatched Community, and it's funny that Marvel to Jeff Winger was already boring in like
so
2010 or whatever. It's
he was streets ahead.
2025, and it is the most watered down thing ever. Oh yeah, those bland, soulless Marvel moves or whatever he said. I don't
which
remember.
is which is funny because the directors of a bunch of Communities episodes, some of the best episodes like the paintball episodes,
Mhm.
um, the Russo brothers directed a bunch of those. The Russo brothers went on to direct the biggest Marvel movies. They directed the Winter Soldier movie, and then Civil War, and then Avengers whatever Infinity War and Avengers, whatever they're called. Those ones that made the most money.
I say this a lot, and so far I have very little evidence to contradict it. Of most of my favorite superhero movies do not involve saving entire universes or multiverses or anything like that, and that even with the X-Men, that kind of tracks. Like the one I like best, the ones I like best, a little more local, a little more local.
I mean, dude, I mean, we talked about The first
It's
X-Men.
yeah,
It's just
New
save
York
these group
City.
of people.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah. The second one is like save.
it's
At one point,
a
it's
bit more.
save all the mutants, and then it goes save all the humans. But
Hmm?
at least it's like it wasn't big. It was like we're in this one room.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this one room is just in the Cerebro.
Well, in all
Um,
these, they're not like recruiting, alien forces or using multiverse technology. It's like, no, there's still just all these kids, all these teenager teachers. I feel smaller.
yeah.
Feel smaller. Maybe my brain just can't handle big scopes. But
Yeah.
that's 10 minutes of X-Men opinions, Chris.
The reason why we're talking about the X-Men, the reason why I had on the Magneto helmet is because this episode we are doing. This may be a series of episodes, or a topic is a member from the Avatar universe versus people with the same powers. In this case, it's Toph Bei Fong versus other metal benders across fiction. I know we could have gone with Kuvira, who's probably a better metal, might be sacrilegious, might be a better metal bender than Toph. But Toph they're probably not that far off, and also Toph is just Toph.
Do you think Kuvira has good seismic sense? Do we have examples of that?
Hmm.
I think that's a
I
big
don't
part
think.
of Toph compensating for blindness in particular, right? But just curiosity.
I don't think I've ever seen Kuvira use seismic sense because Suyin does and Lin Beifong does and Aang does. Other than that, I don't think I've ever seen anyone use seismic sense.
I feel like you could make an argument that Kuvira is probably a better metal bender, just straight metal bending. But if you told me that Toph would be better, maybe what am I trying to say? Better at like an offense defense balance, just because of seismic sense. I'd think about
Hmm.
it. I'd hear it.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go through a list of other people, other superheroes or people in anime, characters in anime, or characters in anything. There's honestly not as many as I thought we were going to be. People who manipulate metal as part of their power set. Doesn't have to be their whole power set, but is a big or it's a part of it. And see how Toph fares against them, because this is often a popular fan discussion of like, all right, Toph versus this person. I've often seen Toph versus Magneto, so we'll go through each person and kind of highlight what we think would happen in the first match of just using metal. And first up is Magneto. I'll ask you, Shawn. How do you think Toph would fare against Magneto?
Saying just metal is difficult because are you then saying she can't use seismic sense to compensate for the fact that she can't see because that is her sight?
Yeah, yeah, she could.
Okay,
Yeah, give her that.
she still gets to see with her feet, but she can't like earthbend him into the ground below his feet.
Yes,
Less is
correct.
metal. Okay.
And also, Magneto can't use because Magneto's powers. The interesting thing about lots of these characters is that Magneto's powers aren't like metal based. I would say they're like he is the master of magnetism, right? He can actually magnetize anything. Like he can actually lift non-metal objects, but for the most part, he just does metal. But canonically, he can lift things that aren't made of metal. But in this case, we're talking just metal.
My gut reaction is still to take Toph because of the ability to shape
Ooh,
the metal.
interesting. Okay.
I think creatively, that's going to lend itself well. But if you're just overpowering, do we have good examples of Magneto probably just being his magnetism abilities being just substantially more powerful than what we've seen Toph do with metal?
Would you like to base this off of the comics, or would you like to base it off the
Oh, I have
movies?
no comic experience. It would have to be off the movies. And
Okay.
in the movies, it's kind of noted. They even explicitly allude to it that it's not like it's the most powerful, bending ability or mutation out there, right? He's just intelligent and creative and all that stuff, but he's not overpowering in the movies. He's crafty, which obviously is going to serve him well. Man, what would
I'm
Toph
glad I
be?
asked you. I'm glad I asked you first because I have the complete opposite
Sure,
opinion.
sure.
I'm glad I didn't. I was afraid I might have swayed your opinion.
Well,
But I'm also happy that you have that opinion.
no, I
That Toph
just
would win.
I'm trying to
Or
think of how well it would go, but I like the idea of Toph being able to manipulate the metal itself. I don't know how
okay.
well that's going to come in handy just yet, but
And I would say, looking at the first X Men, like if you just look off his feats in the first one, it would be a close fight. It would be a really good close fight. The second X Men movie, what does he do big in there? Nothing that big.
it
He
doesn't feel like he
did.
does anything
Um,
overpowering there.
yeah, not in the second one. He did able to sense the iron in a person's blood and that
Hmm?
guard's blood. And that was a cool freaking scene.
Yeah,
Like, he's like, oh, there's something different about you.
and Rebecca Romaine is there too,
Yeah.
so that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And he's like, too much iron in your blood. And then he like freaking lifts the guy up, squeezes the blood out. To Toph's credit, Toph can sense mercury in Korra,
That's pretty cool.
which is which is
It's
like
weird. The
in a
iron in the
larger
blood is
extent.
weird though because everybody already has iron in their blood. That guy just had
He had,
more of it.
yeah, he had like a bunch of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is funny. It's funny when you watch it. This is a side note. So if you ever seen those videos of people like, look at baby food. What's all these metals doing in there? And people are like, that's iron. Like, what do you
Chris
mean
F
that's
had that conversation with a real person in real
oh,
life. Yep, yep, yep.
like what do you think they were saying when they're iron and minerals and stuff?
That I
Like
should
your blood.
consider buying a different baby food is what they were saying pretty directly. But anyway, iron good, iron good. We need that in our blood. I need it so when I
I'm
go
always
give
I'm
blood,
always
I got
I
enough.
am always taking off. Man, this last time I gave blood, I tried. I mean, I was able to donate blood, but it wasn't high enough to do my usual double red blood cells. I could only do the regular weak one. It takes me like 5 minutes to do. Um, and like, I hate taking iron supplements because it makes my stomach queasy and stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to take it at night because I can just sleep through it. And I take it at night. I take it with another multivitamin. And I take it with Sunny D. Sunny D has a bunch of
Mm.
vitamin C in it, which helps. That and I eat plenty of meat. I didn't eat any dairy. I try to go without. And I love ice cream. That's like, and I love cereal. And so for me, it's like almost fasting for. That sounds that's that person's way of fasting.
Oh, well,
No ice
I
cream.
have to go on the carnivore diet for 24 hours. It's the worst.
Do it for a week, Shawn.
Oh, I didn't see that's dedication.
Yeah.
I don't got to.
It's like, and
I walk in there and Chris, someday, so I do the platelets, and so far I've been able to do a triple every time. I don't even know what a good iron count is. It's just like, all right, you're good for a triple. Someday they're gonna be like, okay, you can give a double, and I'm gonna be like, well, I'm sorry, step back now. What? How dare you?
I know it has to be for the double red blood cells has to be like 13. I don't know what that 13 is. That's just the
Honestly, yeah,
has to be has to be above a 13,
I think
and
mine was
mine's like
12
a
or
12.6.
I think for platelets it was 13 or 14 is what got me into
Okay.
triple territory or
Man,
something like that.
holy
For
crap, 14.
but just
I
for
can never do
yeah, but just for platelets.
that.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying not for the other. It's just the platelets is all I know. That's all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Long story short,
yeah,
Magneto wouldn't have to have if he could have Rebecca Romaine drug me before he murders me. At least I'd have a cool story to tell. But I don't know if he would
sure.
have to. He could probably just as is.
Yeah. But third movie, he lifts a whole bridge.
Okay. Okay.
Like the Golden Gate Bridge. That's where it's like Toph can't do anything
Okay.
against
We don't
against.
have any suggestion that
Although,
Toph can bend
hmm,
that much metal.
although
Okay.
Toph did
I
hold
want to
up the
give
Spirit Library.
I want to give Toph like peak Toph too because that's maybe a
Okay,
little
yeah,
post
yeah.
prime Magneto, but again, is It's pretty peak.
Talking about an elderly man who survived the Holocaust.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I mean, can you 1-to-1 the earthbending strength of Toph to
Well,
the
that's
to metal
that I was
bending?
thinking about. Like,
I don't think so because at that time
probably.
when
I
she does
mean,
that, she literally doesn't know any metal bending, does she?
well,
Like
no,
at the
I'm
time
saying
Brian goes.
like if she can hold, X amount of earth as an earthbender, can she hold that same X amount of metal as a metal bender? Like just months later, once
I
she figures out how to metal bend.
I don't think you can make that connection because even at that time she literally like it can't be a 1-to-1 because at that time she literally can't metal bend at all. So I don't know if you have
No, I mean like
substantial.
does like is like when you're like once that chakra is unlocked, or once that ability is unlocked to metal bend, right? Like at that point in time, she can like she knows how to. At one point, she doesn't know how to metal bend. She can't metal bend. Then she knows how to metal bend.
But she
Does her
still
strength?
starts really small, suggesting that those paths aren't like
True, true,
not that they
true.
can't have the same potential, which is your point is they could have
Yeah,
the exact same. There's nothing that we can point to that can prove that they have the same potential.
true.
I don't think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it makes sense what you're saying.
So I would have to say, Chris, what does she do anything really cool in the comics with metal quantity?
No, nothing. Nothing that would come close to. I mean, her greatest metal bending feat. It's so hard because it's not like there's a bunch of objects made of metal.
Yeah,
It's not like,
yeah.
oh, that she lifted this. Um, yeah, there's either I I couldn't see her lifting a bridge made of earth that big.
Okay, that's fair. If
So,
hmm,
uh,
all right, I'll buy that.
and then the Magneto, Magneto and Magneto can stop bullets. I think she could stop.
I th- I
Could
think
she stop bullets?
I
Could she
think
be
she could
good
stop
enough
bullets.
to stop
Everything.
dozens of police officers shooting bullets at her? Also, to enough point where he can like precisely keep a bullet on a person's head without penetrating their skin.
I have an easier-ish time believing that she could do that with like finite precision. I know that doesn't seem like her style, but to like
Yeah,
stop them all to me isn't stopping them all like one by one, but more like stopping with like a wave. You know what I mean? It's not like she's
I mean,
stopping 10 individual things. She's just
yeah,
all around
yeah,
here.
yeah. Same with Magneto, probably. That's not like
Yeah.
a I focused in on each of those individual ones.
No.
It's more just like
So
yeah.
so could she could she hold a bullet to somebody's head at her peak like that? I think so. I have an okay time believing that.
I think so too.
Not that that overpowers the previous evidence
Yeah, the
presented.
bridge thing. Yeah, there's and that's yeah. Um, in the other movies, he lifted a satellite. Satellites are huge. I don't think Toph could bend that. Maybe she could,
Ah,
but the bridge is a huge
she'd
feat.
be bending it. She'd be bending it at points or places, right? She wouldn't just be able to take the whole thing
Yeah,
and crumple it or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I think that's fair. So no, I'll buy your argument.
Okay.
Who
Now, if
you
we're
got
talking
next?
comics, uh, if we're talking comics, Magneto, it is not close at all. Like Magneto is powerful enough to grab an asteroid out of the that I guess has some metal properties out of the out of the space. He's also strong enough to like
Well, but Chris,
reverse the magnetic.
canonically, Avatar teaches us that metal bending asteroids is easier than bending regular metal, so that tracks.
Oh no, the whole asteroid, not a part, not a and that would be a comet that she called. Wait, no, wait, asteroid.
I don't
I
actually
always
remember.
forget.
Meteor? Do they call it a meteor in the
I
show?
think a meteor. I think a meteor's hit, but it doesn't. Wait, what's the difference between a meteor season? but a meteor,
I
a
bet it's
comet,
something
an
as
asteroid.
I bet it's something as simple as like like lava being lava
I would,
outside but magma inside the
yeah.
volcano. It's going to be something that finite of a
Comets.
difference.
I know comets don't land, right? Because
They
we
just
have
keep
Halley's
going.
comet.
Yeah,
Like they go.
just keep going.
Asteroids. I think asteroids are just huge things that pass by. Like maybe they don't necessarily have a tail or anything. And
They
meteors
don't
land.
have a regular trajectory like a comet. We see the same comet over and over again, so it's
Yeah,
somehow in orbit with us or relative
yeah,
to us in its own orbit. Asteroids don't have that. Probably they're probably just out there, just screaming, flying through space aimlessly, just the whole time.
yeah.
Interesting. Uh,
Asteroid. Now I'm looking up the main difference lies. So I looked up the difference between the asteroid and the meteor. Asteroids are space rocks orbiting the sun, while meteors are the bright streaks of light seen when meteoroids, smaller space rocks, enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up.
oh,
Then what are comets?
see, I would have guessed that comet was what you defined, what they defined there as an asteroid. That would have been my
Yeah.
comet guess.
Okay, let's see. Comets are icy bodies with a nucleus of ice, dust, and gas, often with a tail when they approach the sun.
No way.
Uh, okay. So I guess comets are icy bodies that orbit the sun. Asteroids, primarily rocky and metallic materials, mostly found in the asteroid belt. Okay, I guess that makes sense. There's the
Sure.
asteroid belt. They're larger than meteoroids. Meteors are fragments of asteroids or comets, and they burn up upon entry into Earth's atmosphere.
So it's like it's not a meteor until it gets in the atmosphere.
I think so.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking with the lava magma example. I was like, well, out there it's a meteoroid, but in
Yeah.
here it's a meteor.
Yeah. It's
Can't
magma in the.
can't just be the same thing both places. Is that not?
Yeah.
This has been
But yeah, I got
science with Shawn and Chris.
next character. So in general, I
Actually,
have Magneto winning. Any version of Magneto, I have winning. Nets. Oh, all right. Nets person up is one of my favorite characters who I've cosplayed as. Oh, I forgot to say, Shawn. Speaking of cosplaying, because I said in the last video that I got a cosplay idea for my next one. It is going to be a amalgamation or a cross of Toph and Magneto. Somehow I'm gonna go with the color scheme of Toph, and like the base costume would be Toph, and then I think I'll just put some painter's tape in the color
sure,
on this.
sure.
It'll look cheap, but I don't. I could either paint it because I could see myself repainting this color and making it look more metallic. Because right now this just looks plastic.
Kind of a
Um,
flat red, whereas it could be sort of a chromy. It's a little
yeah.
deeper red too. I feel like. Well, I guess movie versus comics.
Well, I think for some reason in the camera it looks deeper red, but it looks more maroon. I think, in from my point of view.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so I think I'll make similar color scheme to Toph, green and yellow, and then have like a Toph outfit, sort of. But maybe more tailored like Magneto's. So Toph color scheme, definitely. And then I'll have definitely gotta have a cape.
Get
Magneto looks great with the cape,
a
and
full
maybe
cape
some
too.
type of
It's a pretty good size.
yeah, and maybe some type of like Magneto usually has like from the comics like a I don't know some type of garment here or metallic thing here that attaches to his cape, and then maybe I'll have like the championship belt that Toph has. It has it's made of metal, and so yeah, that's my idea so far for the next con.
You had me at championship belt. I do. Always infinite respect for the guys at con who dress up like Ember Island players. Tough. That's a gag that to me never gets old. Never.
Yeah, and I looked at some of those. I was like, huh. I mean, mine would be different, but I did see him like, can I get my biceps up to a point that looks better by in the nets? 8 or so months or 7 months. Maybe I could.
Some of those
I lose.
people we
No.
see are pretty fit
Yeah,
humans
they are.
pulling off that look.
That's not me.
I have no interest personally, but I mad respect to those
I
people.
remember I did have I for some reason I did have muscles when I was a teenager. I remember my friend like asked me to flex one time. I was like, okay. He was like, you're strong. You have more muscles than you think. I was like, oh, okay. They're like gone now, but maybe I can get them back.
They're not gone. They're buried.
Yeah, they're. All right. Next character, Static, aka to people who don't know, Static Shock from Static Shock cartoon and show. So his powers are electricity slash magnetism, and so he uses that to control metal. Um, he and if you look at the cartoon in the comics, he does have like he can easily stop like gunfire. Like people can shoot a machine gun at him. He's just like he can just put up a force field that stops the once it's not a force field. I mean it is a force
It's
field, but
literally a magnetic field.
he's controlling the magnetic field. He's controlling the metal. But could he uses more of his lightning slash electricity powers more than being able to like lift metal. He mostly uses metal because he uses it to fly on. He'll make flying discs. He flies on them, and then he'll use metal a little bit to like he'll take a trash can or something and bang up against people. And so, with that being said, as much as it hurts me, I would take Toph in this fight against Static. Like I said, he does his he doesn't have
Offensive
that many great
damage.
feats, I think, with metal.
His offensive
That being
damage is
said, though,
primarily electrical.
yeah, that being said, I don't think Toph. The interesting thing is, I think his defense would be really good. Like, I'm not sure Toph would be able to actually hurt him. She has a better offense than him.
So something
But
I was thinking about with Magneto and gonna bring back up here is just I still like this idea that and Magneto has the strength that he can kind of brute force it with his magnetism powers, but just the idea of like maybe not hurt him, but can she incapacitate him by putting metal around him in a way that he can't escape? Can he brute force his way out of a metal box if he had to? And it's like, if the answer is
yeah,
no, then I lean Toph. Whereas Magneto is like, he just can literally maybe brute
oh,
force his
cause
way out of
Static.
that stuff.
Uh, if you put him in a metal box, could he get out?
Does he have examples
Probably.
of where he could metal bend his way out of a box? Essentially, that sounds like a derogatory. God can't metal bend
Yeah.
his way out of a box. That's not what I mean.
Uh,
I mean,
I mean,
as
when people try and like trap him, they make sure to use plastics and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like if a character is familiar with them, and so I'm pretty confident he'll work his way out of a box pretty easily.
Okay, fair enough.
But like I said before, I'm not sure Toph will be able to hit. Like his defense is really good. Like I said, like bullets. Like Toph would have to overpower him to a certain point that maybe if you threw like a train on him or something. That sound.
Yeah,
Maybe
what Chris means some other form of transportation, not
no.
typically associated with weird videos on the internet.
Um, car, a car. If you threw like a car on him, that
So,
wouldn't be enough.
so for the
Maybe a big
reasons that we
semi.
the reason that
I
we
think
mentioned
maybe a big semi.
earlier, the reasons that we mentioned earlier make the bullet stopping just not like a huge feat to me. Like they're just doing one thing in really close quarters when they're all stopping like projectiles. Like if Kuvira was throwing, bracelets at Toph, I would
Yeah.
have no doubt that she could stop them within her close vicinity when Kuvira is over there. You know what I mean? So that doesn't do a lot for me. for any of their sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I would probably give the edge to Toph since it's just purely metal.
yeah.
Metal isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not his expertise. That's just not his his base. If he had a base power set, it's electricity. He uses that to control metal
Yeah.
and stuff. But it's not. He doesn't even like manipulate metal in the sense that like
The metal is
Toph does.
completely
Like or even like
the projectile. It's not like the projectile solely. It's not even the product for him, like it is with
yeah
Magneto.
like if he picked this up and it was metal, he wouldn't be able to like turn it. I've never seen him like turn it into like a key or something.
Yeah.
Like or like he's just like no, he just picks it up as itself. Like sure he could crush it, but he would just pick it up and throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take Toph. It'll be a close battle, just because Static's defense is pretty great. But yeah, I would take Toph.
I was having trouble thinking of characters beyond those two in the first place, so I'm looking forward to
I
just
know,
who your
right?
next characters are.
The others aren't. Uh, there's one here that you won't be familiar with, but I'll mention it anyway. From Naruto, it's the third Kazekage. That doesn't mean anything to you either.
Nope.
But essentially, this person is like the leader of this village, or was leader of the village, and like they can often control like sand, but he can control like little shards of sand that's made of metal. It's called iron sand, and yeah, he's pretty freaking strong. I would say this, like characters from Naruto. So I will probably, like I said, he controls sand, like that's made of metal. It's funny because sand is. That might be a good matchup for Toph. Huh. Yeah. But I was thinking because Death Battle did a Earthbending match between Toph and Gara. You don't know who Gara is. That's fine. Gara is also from Naruto, who is I want to say the son of this character that I'm talking about here. Death Battle did have Toph winning that match, and I disagree sometimes with Death Battle, but they do a lot of research and stuff. And so when I don't have as much knowledge about something, I'll probably lean to their judgment. And
My
so yeah, they
question
had
is,
Toph winning that match.
can that guy do anything with the metal sand though, or is he just controlling the metal sand and using it like Big Hero 6, like the villain uses the little.
Ooh, it is kind of similar to that. Probably way faster.
Yeah.
Like it would, the speed at which they do these things. He also creates puppets.
See, to
Uh,
me, Toph still wouldn't have any trouble stopping or redirecting or just outstronging, small metal particulate. Just mold it together and send it back at him. And what's can he do anything against that? Like, I have no idea because I'm
yeah, I
not
don't
familiar with the
know. I
character.
don't. So uh, it does say he could form massive constructs. Like he can make a spear or a shield from the metal sand. Also, this might be cheating, but he has poisoned iron sand that he can use to paralyze his foes.
I see. I feel like
We don't have to include that into the.
if he's poisoning it himself somehow, it's like, then should Toph be able to poison it also? Probably.
What's the iron sand with Shawn starting his defense?
Man, the tough part about Toph is we just don't have enough examples of those
I know, right?
mid years.
I see the sand part is what might. And I didn't think about this before. Is what probably will lean the fight for me for him because Toph. I'm not sure she will be able to see all that sand as well as she would be able to.
Can that guy do anything
Enough
with
to.
anything other than sand though? Because if she could just solidify it into a big chunk of metal, and then he's just like, "Well, I'm screwed."
Yeah, yeah, he can control metal. He just likes to use sand because that's kind of his
But he can't
thing.
control other metal in similar
Yeah.
ways.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
I would just based off of sand, not even power, and not including the poison thing because that's seems like a cheat. Um, I would probably give it to this character, the third Kazekage. I forget what his name is, honestly. Kazekage is a term. It's like the president of or the leader of this group. Kage means shadow. I'm guessing Kaze. I forget what Kaze means. Anyway, there's like 5 different lands. They all have their own leader with the term Kage and the term like there's the Hokage, there's a Raikage, there's the whatever. All those different terms mean like the shadow, mean they overlook that village. Um, the Kimuro Kage. Wait, is there Kimuro Kage? Fire Shadow, Black. Anyway, not important. But I'll probably give the third Kazekage the advantage just because it's sand and because Toph had trouble a little bit just with plain sand, and it will be a learning curve to deal with, I think, metal sand. Not that she wouldn't be able to combat it some, but it will be enough that there will be a window there that this person could take advantage of.
I have to defer.
Yeah. And I do know that some of these conversations will be based probably more so on by. That's up Alfonso Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, the small older brother.
Mm-hmm.
He uses metal. He usually forms metal using alchemy and stuff. He's getting whooped by Toph easily.
I would say, wouldn't she just, he's forming it with alchemy? Wouldn't she just
Yeah.
a piece of tinfoil?
Also, yeah. Also, he does. Yeah. And also, he doesn't like control metal. He just can form it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this list is shorter than I thought it
But
would
what
be.
a useful counterpart. You want that guy to be
From
on your team. You just don't want him, being the front guy against Toph.
Yeah. From Jujutsu Kaisen, there's a character named Nobara Kigasaki. She uses this technique called like a hammer and metal nails. She like infuses nails with certain energy, and she hits them and she controls them. And yeah, Toph is like we talked about bullets before. These nails, I don't think are faster than the bullets. They're fast, but I
Faster
don't
than a bullet. Yeah, that's.
catching bullets with his teeth. I was about to rewatch that movie yesterday. Then there's Magneton for Pokemon that I wasn't even sure had metal powers, but I was just like, I assume it does. His name is Magneton.
To the best of my knowledge, he's strictly electrical, so it'd be a static shock. It'd be a Virgil bucket, where it's not that like. There's an episode where they're all like magneted together and they're all just stuck together because they're made of metal, which seems like it'd be unfortunate, but to the best of my knowledge, that's it. It would be a worse version of static, much worse, much more narrow. So I don't think they got anything there. Not with just using metal.
Yeah. Shawn, was there someone from? I know you're solely watching One Piece. Was there a character from One Piece that used metal?
Not yet, or not exclusively, but I will say the thing with One Piece is that all these villains will show up, and it'll just be like a very arbitrary set of powers where it's not like not like a certain mutation or not like a certain bending. It's like, no, it's just a guy that when he opens his jackets, there's just large machine guns in there. It's like, it's not a mutation. It's what he has. No, so nothing that I can note yet 60 episodes in.
Okay.
Very likely
We
somewhere buried in there, but
we talked before about Colossus from X-Men
mm-hmm.
and that he would not do anything.
Yeah,
he just turns into like you were better off just being regular big strong guy.
Yeah, just by yourself. What about Ernest goes to jail? He gets electrocuted, and then he has the ability to, he's basically Virgil for one small part of the movie.
Oh, sorry, I just got thigh cramp.
Interesting. I thought you were working really hard to remember the movie Ernest Goes to Jail. I was like, I don't think it's worth thinking about that hard.
I like bent my leg in a certain way, and it was just like, nope, there's a cramp.
Getting old is
Okay,
cool. No, I can't
God.
think of any other things that sort of outwardly bend or manipulate metal as an offensive weapon.
Yeah, there wasn't as many as I thought there would be. Yeah,
Uh, Excellent, Chris.
there
Final.
might be one from My Hero Academia. There's one guy who has metal teeth, and he just grows huge blades from his teeth. It's a weird, stupid power.
That sounds
He would be beat.
virtually worthless.
Like his character design is like a gimp, and but it's like his whole body's like covered in leather except for his mouth. It's just teeth that come out. Uh, then
That sounds horrible.
then there's other guy who um keeps like screws and nails on him and stuff like that, and bolts and nuts, and he can throw them, and then he can make them giant. And I don't think he can like bend it necessarily. But he can like throw it and then make it like the giant the size. He can make like a nail the size of like 6 foot nail.
Uh,
That would be interesting.
I just threw it
But I
in.
don't think.
I just threw it into AI just for giggles. Gemini AI. And so
Yeah.
it says Magneto, Colossus, which we discussed, Doc Ock, which not really. Polaris, who says daughter of Magneto, not familiar.
Yeah.
Full Metal guys, Gajeel Red Fox, which is from Fairy Tale, which I watched, I don't know, probably 50 episodes at one point. I don't remember him specifically, him or her.
Yeah.
But it says he can consume iron for strength and create iron weapons, whatever that means. Risotto Nero from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, unfamiliar. Uh, Rel from League of Legends, Tremor from Mortal Kombat. That's what I got.
I feel like I'm missing one.
I'm sure
Like
just from
like is there no fighting
descriptions,
game?
just from descriptions, Gajeel and Risotto seem to actually manipulate metal in terms of anime and stuff, but those are out of my realm of experience.
Yeah, I never watched those shows. Oh well, actually, I tried to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I got about 5 episodes in,
Uh,
and I was like, not for me.
I think I legitimately enjoyed. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to get it mixed up. I think I legitimately enjoyed Fairy Tale, but what was available on Netflix ran out.
Mm.
Right, so I didn't have access to the full thing dubbed. I can't watch subbed. I'm sorry, sub fans. I just can't. Uh, and it ran out. Otherwise, I think I enjoyed that one enough to pursue potentially. Like I remember
Yeah,
making it the
okay.
whole way. But anyway, kind of a standard. I don't want to say a standard. High fantasy tropes. Join a guild. Fight bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, those the metal benders. Chris, just real quick, I got to know what you think. You feel Kuvira in this exact example would fare better in general across the board, just metal
Yeah.
specific. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. She is I think a better metal bender, and objectively have displayed better metal bending.
I think we have better examples of her, like with the overpowering, like metal bending size and sort of sheer strength and volume. But then plenty of examples of her doing, with like precision and creativity as well.
Yeah.
And then I think it also there's something to her that feels like a trained martial artist that I feel like
Mm.
would play well against like a Magneto or something. Like Magneto's crafty, but there's something about her that's just like she's a fighter. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it would really help or
Yeah.
not, but just thinking about a one-on-one battle as opposed to a scheme, an evil genius plot where he wrecks a bridge or whatever.
I am surprised that there are not as many metal manipulating characters as I thought there would be.
Electricity's all the rage. They
Oh
need to
yeah,
expand.
love electricity. We'll get to electricity.
We'll do electricity. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll get to ice and air, and also blood. There's probably more blood
I
benders
bet
in
so.
fiction than than metal.
When we do bloodbenders, give me an example. I can't think of any other like bloodbending types. I keep thinking of just like mind control type stuff, not literal
Mm.
blood and muscle control. You
Um,
gotta.
that list of people who manipulate blood characters. There's a character from Jujutsu Kaisen. He manipulates his own blood, but he uses it to like shoot streams of stuff. Um, oh gosh, there's a character from Naruto named Hidan who like if you get some of your blood will take you through a ritual and then controls your body and stuff like that. Then there's a character from My Hero Academia named Stain. You might remember if he licks your blood, he can
Mhm,
paralyze you.
I do
But
recall.
but it depends on your blood type. So if you're a certain blood type, it's shorter. Um, let's see. So those are the main ones I can think of. Oh, apparently there's a character in Chainsaw Man. Oh, then you talk about I was gonna say vampires, but that's a different thing. Oh, it's called a hemomancer to some, and like in D&D apparently, or stuff like that.
Interesting. I was just thinking about D&D because one of my comrades is a vampire that hasn't fully turned yet, and so he's currently like trying to resist, but we like can't let him near raw meats or things like that. it's it's very silly. It's very silly.
So,
On
um,
our way to kill the original vampire as we speak, or be killed doing so.
yeah. Blood is an interesting one that I think is like the use of it is um so unique, different from different people.
I'm actually having these horrible visions now. I hadn't thought of it yet. That if we don't win this fight, then our characters will be turned like the DM won't kill us. He'll turn those characters into vampires, and then our next group, like our next campaign, we'll just end up going and hunting our former selves, or he'll have them haunt us or something weird. Now I'm scared.
But yeah, those are some of the metal. Sorry, some of the well, they are metal benders.
Hmm?
They're bending blood.
Yeah, it's true.
Back to the
Getting back to some iron.
iron. Oh, they're probably been in the water, and well, it depends on the type of bender. Depending the water in the blood
Mhm.
cells, and not the iron in the blood cells.
That is my preferred method of blood bending. That's what my brain wants blood bending to be. All right. Well, thanks, Chris, for walking us through some fights. Thanks for being here, everybody. My name's Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of Twitter and YouTube fame. YouTube famous. Janet Varney knew who I
Yeah,
was. It's a big deal. I said it
big
sarcastically. It's
deal.
really cool.
Yeah,
And I'll put all the stuff down in the description. Leave positive comments, thumbs ups, likes, bells, anything positive interaction. We love it all. So, yeah, thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you next time.
goodbye. Happy July. Happy Superman Day. Superman will be up when
Happy
this is over.
July 12th, roughly, give or
Yeah,
take.
July.
Great day, July 12th. Happy that. All right. See you later, everybody.